How to install your Elita Pure. When you unpack your new Elita Pure, you will find several other items in the package with it. There is a diverter included. This is used to connect your Elita Pure to the faucet. There are 3 adapter rings and 3 O-rings included. The O-rings are used with the adapter rings, and these are used with the diverter valve to accommodate other styles of faucets. There is an angle stop adapter. This is used to install your Elita Pure directly to the cold water line. There's a length of 1/4 inch tubing. This is used also to install your Elita Pure, and it supplies the water to the unit. There is a bonus detachable outlet hose. This is used when filling larger containers. There are 2 AA batteries included, and your Elita Pure comes with a new filter which is installed in the unit when it arrives to you. Before you install your Elita Pure to the cold water supply, you will first need to remove the filter cartridge and install the batteries. To do this, you will press the 2 back cover release buttons located on each side of the unit. Press these simultaneously to release the back cover, and then remove the cover. To remove the filter, you will slide the filter cartridge release lever to the left, all the way to the unlocked position. Then turn the filter to the right while gently pulling downward. Once the filter releases, you can simply remove it. Next, remove the battery cover located here. Slide the battery cover off, and then we will install the batteries, 2 AA batteries, into this slot. On the plastic case right here, there are indicators showing the polarity that the battery should be installed in. Slide the batteries in, and then reinstall the battery cover. When you do this, you might notice the LED light up. You will then need to reset the filter cartridge lifetime counter. This is a red button located here. You will press and hold the button for about 5 seconds until you see the LED flash red. You can then release the button, and it is time to reinstall the filter. Gently set the filter into place, and then simply slide the filter cartridge release lever to the right to the fully locked position. This should slide over fairly easily. If there's a lot of resistance and it's difficult to slide the lever over, the filter is probably not properly positioned. If this happens, slide the lever to the left to the fully unlocked position, turn the filter to the right while gently pulling downward, and then reposition the filter to make sure it is centered on the platform, and then try again to slide the lever to the right all the way to the fully locked position. Once the filter is reinstalled, you can reinstall the cover. Simply line up the cover and press it into place. There are 2 methods that can be used to connect your Elita Pure to the cold water supply. Method 1 uses the diverter valve to connect your Elita Pure to the faucet. Method 2 uses the angle stop adapter to connect your Elita Pure directly to the cold water line. To connect your Elita Pure using method 1, first install the diverter valve to your faucet. First, remove the aerator from the faucet and then screw the diverter valve onto the faucet where the aerator was. You may need to use an adapter ring and an O-ring to accommodate your faucet. You may also need to use a little Teflon tape when you install this. You'll tighten it securely, but don't over tighten it. Once it's secured to the faucet, you will then remove the compression nut. Unscrew this completely and remove it. Next, you will put the compression nut onto the 1/4-inch tubing. Thread the tubing through the nut, making sure that the threaded side is closest to the end of the tubing, or facing the end of the tubing, as you will need to screw this back onto the diverter. Then, with the nut threaded onto the tubing, you will install the tubing onto the nipple on the side of the diverter. This is a very tight fit, so to make it easier, hold the end of the tubing in a cup of very hot water for 20 or 30 seconds to soften the tubing. It'll then be easier to get the tubing over the nipple. Once the tubing is on the nipple, you will slide the compression nut up and tighten the compression nut. Method 2, connecting the Elita Pure directly to your cold water line. First, install your angle stop adapter to your cold water line. If you're not comfortable doing this type of plumbing alteration, we recommend hiring a licensed plumber. When you install the angle stop adapter, remember to turn off your cold water supply first. Also, be sure that the valve on the angle stop adapter is in this position, which is the closed position, so no water will come through here. Once the angle stop adapter is installed in your cold water line, attach the 1/4-inch tubing to the fitting. Insert the tubing into the fitting and press it firmly to make sure that it's inserted all the way into the fitting. Give a gentle tug to make sure that it's secured. You will then need to route the tubing up through a small hole near your sink and your countertop so that the tubing comes out above the counter to connect to the Elita Pure. The next step is to connect the end of the 1/4-inch tubing to the quick connect fitting on the bottom of the Elita Pure. The next step is to connect the other end of the tubing to the tap inlet fitting on the bottom of the Elita Pure. To do this, we will need to turn the Elita Pure upside down. Turn the unit upside down and place it gently on its top. Remove the plug from the tap inlet fitting. This is a quick connect fitting, so it has a collet at the opening of the fitting that locks the tubing or the plug in place. You will need to press inward on the collet while you pull the plug out. Sometimes it's easier to use a tool like a small flat blade screwdriver or even a butter knife. You can use this to press against the collet, pressing it in towards the fitting while you pull the plug out. I find it easier to do it with my fingers. Once the plug is removed, insert the end of the 1/4-inch tubing into the tap inlet fitting. Brace the inlet fitting with one hand while inserting the tubing with the other hand. You'll need to have this sitting upright on the top to do this. Press firmly to make sure the tubing is inserted all the way into the fitting. Once the tubing's installed, you can give it a gentle tug to make sure that it's secured. Then, we'll turn the Elita Pure upright and place it on your counter. Now that your Elita Pure is connected to the cold water supply, it's time to flush the filter. To do this, use the detachable outlet hose. Attach the hose by sliding it over the outlet. Then, turn the water flow on by pressing the button. Our unit's not actually connected to the water supply, so no water will flow from our unit. But you should have water flowing out of the hose. Allow the water to flow for 1 or 2 minutes until the filter is flushed. While the water's flowing, the LED will flash blue. To turn the water flow off, press the button again, and the water flow stops. The filter is now flushed. Pull downward to detach the hose. You're now ready to enjoy your water. How to replace the filter and the batteries in your Elita Pure. When the LED on your Elita Pure flashes red, it usually indicates it's time to replace the filter. When replacing the filter, always replace the batteries at the same time also. To replace the filter and the batteries, first press the back cover release buttons located on each side of the unit. Press these buttons simultaneously to release the back cover, and then remove the cover. Next, remove the filter by sliding the filter cartridge release lever to the left, to the unlocked position. Then turn the filter to the right while gently pulling downward. Once the filter is released, remove the filter. Next, you will need to replace the batteries. Remove the battery cover located here. Remove the cover, and then replace the batteries with new batteries, making sure to have the polarity correct. Remember, there's an indicator on the case showing the polarity that the batteries should be inserted in. With the new batteries installed, replace the battery cover. Next, you will need to press and hold the filter cartridge lifetime reset button. This is a red button located here. Press and hold the button for 5 seconds until the LED flashes red. Then let go. Now it's time to install the new filter. Take your new filter and slide it into place, making sure it's centered on the tray. Then you slide the filter cartridge release lever to the right, to the fully locked position. Remember, this should be easy to do. If there's a great deal of resistance and it's very hard to move the lever, the filter is probably not in the proper position. If this happens, move the release lever back to the left to the unlocked position, turn the filter to the right while gently pulling downward, and then reposition the filter so that it's centered on the tray, and try again by moving the lock lever to the right all the way to the fully locked position. Once the filter is installed, you can reinstall the filter door. Simply line up the door and press it in place. Once this is completed, don't forget to flush your filter. It makes it easy to do this by using the detachable outlet hose. Attach the hose by sliding it onto the outlet, and then Turn on the water flow by pressing the button on the top of the machine. Our machine's not connected to the water, so no water will flow through the hose. But you should have water flowing out your hose. Allow the water to flow for a minute or two to flush the filter. While the water flows, the LED will flash blue. Once the filter is flushed, turn the water flow off by pressing the button again and releasing it. Then remove the detachable hose by gently pulling downward. You've now replaced your filter and the batteries. Enjoy your water.